Corner blitz. Grossman into the end zone, picked off. Here comes Maurice Sikes. He's got some help. One man back, and Maurice Sikes will go in for the score. 98.
By NMD TV. If you love college football, if you love Canes football, make sure you hit the link in the description to the YouTube channel. Most of the people know me from YouTube, and I just recently started this podcast going on a couple months back, 2 months back, and we grinding and we shining. But if for some reason you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you hit the link in the description. Go over there for content daily, and of course, you get the Canes After Dark podcast every Friday. Today, we got a special guest, one of my favorite Miami Hurricanes. To me, one of the most underrated Miami Hurricanes. To me, a guy that had one of the best plays in Miami Hurricane history. Guys, we got former Miami Hurricane great Mo Sikes. Mo, how you doing today, brother?
I'm blessed. I can't complain.
Man, we got a lot of crazy stuff going on, the coronavirus. So I just wanted to ask you, how is that affecting you right now?
I guess for me, it doesn't really affect me because I work. I mean, it's law enforcement and first responders, nurses, doctors, and stuff like that. They're still going to work like if it's a normal day. Obviously, we know it's not normal. It affects me with my children, my kids. They're home and they're stir crazy, but other than that, I mean, it's been, business as usual, unfortunately.
All right, so you're in law enforcement. Are y'all having to do things a little bit different with the virus would you been able to possibly catch the virus?
Well, yeah, I mean, you want to do, we're still trying to practice the social distancing thing that we have going on, all over the world. However, in some cases, obviously, that's not, somebody have to go to jail. They have to go to jail. There's nothing you can do about that. And you try to be as safe as possible, gloves, mask, try to stay out of big groups. We're doing the same things everybody else is doing. It's just that, when unfortunately we have something that needs the law to step in, we obviously have to step in, and then it doesn't really matter if, you have corona or not. We unfortunately have to do that job.
Okay. So we definitely want to talk about what's going on with the program right now, and definitely from your point of view. But I did want to talk about, your time at Miami and things like that. To be honest with you, when I was doing the polls on who is some guys that people would love to hear, everybody would bring up your name. To me, you're one of the most underrated Miami Hurricanes. But do you look at yourself as kind of an underrated Miami Hurricanes when everybody's talking about 2001, 2002 team and things in the history of the program?
No, I don't think so. I think that what was so great about those teams and being in that program is everybody had a specific role. You knew what you were supposed to do. You knew what you brought to the table. You knew when your bell got rung, you had to perform, and it wasn't going to be nothing. No bones about it, because if you didn't do it, somebody else was going to do it. So I felt like I did what I was supposed to do. Like when it was my turn to start or my turn to lead or my turn to attempt to make a play, I tried to make the play the best way I could. Sometimes that worked out, sometimes it didn't. But for me to say underrated, I mean, I played at University of Miami. I mean, it was, we was rock stars. I mean, what was underrated about being a rock star? I mean, I couldn't imagine anybody saying that. And I could think of some people that's, way more underrated than I was. I mean, Rohan Davey he's a legend, obviously his dad, but, as a football player, he was just, tenacious. So it's a lot more people that I would call, more underrated than I am. But I just think that we all just did what we were supposed to do, especially during those times.
So let's take it back to you getting to Miami. What was the recruiting process like, and how did you end up going to Miami?
I mean, obviously I'm from Miami. It was a lot of, my class was, the who's who of, college, high school ball during that time. And some of the guys I saw in the All-Star game, some of them, Andre Johnson and I grew up on the same block. And, it's kind of was not hidden, but guys just kind of said, we want to go to Miami. So, I mean, I I mean, I wasn't on the caliber of, I think Dre was like number one or Vernon was number one. But I could have went to any school that I wanted to, but why not go to Miami? I mean, I know it's not, they don't have all those bells and whistles, but I didn't go to school for bells and whistles. I went to school to play football. So it was an easy choice when I think back on it. I mean, I wavered a little bit in the beginning simply because, a young kid who doesn't really understand life, and everybody's flashing ice cream in front of you. You want ice cream, but Butch didn't do that. Butch said, "Hey, listen, I'm recruiting you. You want to come play? We're gonna win, and that's it." And I kind of was like, "Yeah, I want to win, and plus my mom can come down the street and see me play." So that was the best part for me. I wanted to stay home. I wasn't enamored with going to some of the other schools. I mean, obviously Alabama wasn't as big as they are right now. Got recruited by the Ohio States, the Michigans, all of those places. But I mean, for one, I'm from Miami. I'm not going to nobody cold weather. And then I just didn't feel like if I would have went to those schools, regardless of anything, I wouldn't have had the support that I had while being home and being in Miami.
You get to Miami, and I think at that time you guys were winning about 9 games, and then by the time you end, you're going to back-to-back national championship. Can you kind of take us to what it took to build up those great teams that you guys had?
It's simple. It took everything. Those guys that were before us, the Santana Moss, the Nate Websters, the Dan Morgans, Al Blades, Leonard Myers, those guys laid the foundation for us so strong. Damian Lewis. I can think of so many people that were instrumental in just showing what work was. It wasn't the glamour. It wasn't what you see on TV now where, the guy scoring a touchdown and stuff like that and people going crazy. It was work. Like we worked. We worked in the basketball gym before the gym was built. We didn't work out in the gym. We worked out in the basketball courts. We was working out outside. Guys was in the sand pit. Guys was running hills. Like that's what it was. And when you see somebody like Dan Morgan who rarely talked, but when he did talk, you listened. And when he worked, you definitely listened because he was outworking almost everybody. Al Blaze, Ed Reed. I mean, the list goes on and on with, obviously those people are legendary now. We think about it then. But when we were there, those guys that's who showed us the way. Those are the ones who made the path for us to win a national championship in 2001. Should have been 2000 as well. We should have played for it. And then to get the opportunity in 2002 as well. So that 5-8 year block was built on the 95, 96 class, the 97 class. Those guys were the ones who were the building blocks that made the 2001 team, because without those teams before, without those players before, without all those guys, you don't see the 2001 team because you don't get the collection of talent and you definitely don't get the guys seeing what the real work is because they hadn't been through the struggle.
So you come in, and who was either a mentor or who was a leader that took you, said, "Hey, Mo, this is how it's done. We put in work," or did they just lead by example?
For me, it was easy. It was Al. Al Blaze was the unspoken leader of the secondary, almost of the defense. Dan was the guy who made most of the plays, got a lot of the highlights and stuff like that. And Ed Reed, Ed was, quiet. He was quiet then. When I first got there, he was quiet. And he just would play, he just, hey, this is what we're doing. We're going this way. Follow me if you want to win. And that's what most people did. But Al was the one who would, after practice, pull to the side. Now he'll kick your butt now. He wouldn't take it any light on you. He was never, I wouldn't categorize him as a friendly guy. However, I would definitely say that for me, he mentored me. He was able to put me under his wing, and even when, not making a play or getting a pass caught on me or a touchdown or missing a tackle or something like that, he would pull me to the side and be able to talk to me about what happened and things like that. And then, later, I want to say like 2002, when Al left, then it was Ed. Then Reed just took it over. Well, he was the spoken, unspoken, whatever leader you want to say. He was the guy. He was able to talk to the guys on the offense, the guys on special teams, guys on defense, the coaches. He was able to make sure people understood their roles and understood what they had to do. So, I mean, obviously he became a mentor to everybody, not just me, not just the defensive backs, but, the entire team, because he was, obviously that special.
All right, guys, we got Mo Sikes, former Miami Hurricane, great on the line. Mo, when you look at all the talent you guys had and you're talking about the workout put in and day out, what was practice like?
Without offending anybody, it was war. It was really war. Guys were literally trying to destroy each other, and in a brotherly love kind of way. Like, if you have a sibling or something like that, and you try to make them tougher, and you pick them up and body slam. It was basically that. That's what we had all the time. We had literal wars. It was so much fighting and so much. Guys, throwing up, guys just giving it all. The best way I could say it is because it made the game so much easier, and that's not to take away anything from our opponent. It just was, when you're going against Kellen Winslow, who's going to be a better tight end than him? You're going against Dorsey, who was a better quarterback than him? Andre Johnson, Kevin Beard, Willis McGahee, Clinton Portis, Dan Morgan, Ed Reed, I mean, the list is ridiculous. So if you're going against those guys in practice, how do you get in the game and can't perform? Because I can't tell you another player that I played with that was better than Sean. Who was going to be better than Sean at covering Jeremy Shockey? Who was going to be better than Sean at catching Devin Hester when he was playing receiver? He do a fly right. So those types of things made it. Well, it basically was war. Like, you was really trying to kill the other guy, but obviously at the end of the day, we still teammates. But by going through that battle, going through those wars, going through those trials and tribulations, doing those practices, because that's what they were, you became so much stronger. You came so much stronger. And then when the game came in, I mean, man, it's just second quarter. You like, yo, I'm not even tired. I'm not even breathing hard. And then it's third or fourth quarter. And once fourth quarter, and we put up the four fingers. When we did it, we wasn't doing it because, oh yeah, let's start the four fingers. Oh yeah, it's the fourth quarter. We was doing it up because we was telling you, man, we gonna go crazy on you in this fourth quarter. If we even playing, even if the starters are playing, because most games the starters was out in the fourth quarters because we were up. But if we were in the fourth quarter, you had no chance. We was winning that game. So those practices was probably better than some games we played.
Man, I wish I could see some old practice footage, man. And that's crazy. You mentioned the fours up and things like that. It's crazy now that everybody does that in every football game.
I mean, that's simple. We don't have to be coy here. Everybody wants to, you either play for Miami or you wanted to play for Miami. It's that simple. Everybody come out of the smoke now. Everybody throws up the fours. Everybody has a turnover something. Like, it's, everybody hates Miami, but that's because you either didn't play at Miami or you couldn't play at Miami. This is the only ways around it, because we are the standard. That's why when Miami is good, college football is better. It is better. It feels better. But, unfortunately, when you're not, they're going to dog you out. Oh, you lost to FIU? Oh, man, that's front page. That's front page everywhere. It don't matter what else is going on the regular world. You lost to who? Oh, okay, yeah. So everybody going to take their shots. Everybody want a shot at the throne, And Miami for so long has been, the king. So now that, the king is down a little, you want to take your shot.
All right, so you and Sean, both of y'all play safety, 2-6 and 3-6. I thought y'all chemistry was amazing when you watch out both of y'all play. What was you and Sean's relationship like? And could you give me just your favorite Sean moment?
I have a lot of Sean moments. Our relationship was, we had a good relationship, and the way it was good, it worked good for me because I could mess up and he would be there. For him, I mean, it's hard to say how it worked out for him, but for me, it was a blessing. Sean was absolute, hands down, the best athlete I've played with, been on the football field with. Man, I have so many Sean stories. I have that I mean, I don't have a favorite. They all my favorite. I mean, obviously, with him passing, you hold on to things a lot closer to the vest now. But Sean was different. And when I say different, I don't mean like, Ed Reed is different. Ed Reed is special. But Sean was different from him, and that's not to take away anything from Ed, because I love them both. I love them both the same as my brothers. But Sean was a lot different in the sense that Sean probably could have started for us at running back or linebacker, probably receiver. And he probably could have played corner, and then obviously he was All-American free safety. He was dynamic. And I say that in the sense that, people don't realize, and then, how it is now. Everybody is the next. Oh, he's the next. But Sean was legit 6'3", 230. Sean ran like a slot receiver. He hit like a linebacker, and he can cover like the best corner. So you had all of that in one person. And the biggest thing with Sean wasn't even all of that. It was his heart. Sean was headstrong. Let's say that. If he put his mind to something, it was going to happen one way or the other. I give like a little story we had in practice. I remember we had got in trouble. We wasn't doing what we were supposed to be doing, and Coach Coker ran us or something like that. And then we came back and we was doing like a 7-on-7 drill, and it was a non-hitting drill. We wasn't even in full pads. And Sean said it. He said we can't. He was pissed. He was pissed because we got called out, and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna hit somebody." We all like, Sean, we not in full pads. We I think we was in shells. And he said, I'm gonna hit somebody, man. And I don't know what made Dorsey throw it, but he threw a pass over the middle, like a seam pass, and Kevin Beard got close to the ball. And man, that flip that the kid from Florida State did back in that 2003 maybe, that was nothing compared to what he did to Kevin Beard in practice that day with no pads on. And he got sent away from he got out of practice and everything, but he didn't care. Like, he didn't care. It was the fact that he got called out. I mean, we got called out as a defense, and he took it personal. And that was the best. That was the best. And some people would say the worst thing about him. He took everything personal, like as if you said anything about Miami, you were saying it about Sean. And for me, honestly, it was a blessing because I knew that if he got mad, he was going to destroy something. And once you see somebody get destroyed, other people take notice, and they don't want to run the ball. They don't want to catch the ball. They don't want to block because they know. Everybody knew that he was back there. We on defense, if the ball was in the air or if it was a group of us, tackling somebody, if you look at film, you will see us looking around to see where Sean was at, because Sean would come and he would hit everybody. He didn't care. And he wasn't trying to hurt us, but he definitely was trying to hurt them. He was definitely trying to make the play. He was trying to strip the ball. He was trying to get the pick. He was trying to help our team win because it was you against us. And anything you said against us, he took it personal.
You said about the him just trying to hit somebody. One play that came to mind, one of your best plays against Florida, the 99-yard interception to the house against Florida. You can see Sean trailing back to run and just hit somebody. I think you were about to take it to the house, but he still went back, go and knock somebody out. But let me ask you about that play. What's going through your mind? Florida's driving, they're about to score. You end up picking off Rex Grossman and take it to the house. What's going through your mind before the play, during the play, and then what's the feeling afterwards?
Yeah, it's funny because I was just speaking with somebody about this game because I always get asked about the game. Of course, because people say, the 99-yarder. But the thing is that the score isn't indicative of how competitive the game was. They were going down to score. That game was 27-16, and if they get that score and it's 27-23, which makes it a different game. The thing I can remember the most about before that play, I think it was a timeout, maybe a play or the play before or two plays before. We were gassed. They were driving. And I remember McDougal saying, all right, that's it. Somebody got to make a play. Somebody got to make a play. We got to get off the field. And, it just happened to be me. You know what I mean? I tell people all the time, I didn't do nothing special. That was my job. It was in that. That's not a play that any of the safeties, any of the corners we had couldn't make. It just so happened that I was playing that and I was doing my job. Looking back at the play, it's very easy to read. Rex didn't even look to my side. And I was guarding their tight end who was supposed to be good. But as I see, they run. I think Jacobs out wide at the top of the screen, and he kind of got doubled, but not on purpose. And then the other receiver was cutting in, and the tight end on my side wasn't doing nothing. He kind of just jogged off the line. And when he jogged off the line, I knew he wasn't going to him, so I stopped looking at him. I see Rex kind of getting pressured, and he threw the ball up. And then, I had hurt my shoulder early in the game on a stupid play, trying to hit a guy that was bigger than me. And I just really didn't have the lift of my arms to get up. That's where the ball got patted in the air, come down. We were always taught, from the time I got to UM, even when I was in high school, you get the ball in your hands, you're trying to score. I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to take a knee. I'm not trying to wait for the offense to come out. We on offense now. Mostly everybody that played DB during those years had played offense before, myself included. So once I caught the ball and I got past Rex, you could jog the rest of the way. Nobody else is nobody's catching me. And then it's like 7 of my guys running with me, which, that's what I remember the most about it is that, that we were together, and I knew that was going to break the back, not because it was me, but because we had said, hey, we need to make a play. We need to get off the field. We tired. We was tired. It was a dogfight. That was a good Florida team, that we played that day. And they had a lot of great athletes, a lot of great players, a lot of guys that I know as friends now. But it was great to be able to make that play. But any of the DBs at UM during that time would have been able to make that play. Would have got to the end zone a lot faster than I did too, by the way. But I did get the chance to savor in that moment of going into the end zone with my teammates, and then celebrating with my teammates on the sideline, which was like the best feeling.
From that play to the Fiesta Bowl, overtime, 4th and 3. They throw the ball up. It's incomplete. You guys think y'all got a national championship. Another one. I'm at home going crazy as a young buck. Miami wins. And then they throw the flag and say pass interference. And you guys end up losing to Ohio State. Kind of talk about, what were you doing on that play? Do you remember what you were doing on that play? And just your feelings during the end of that game?
That's another dogfight, it should have never came down to that play, honestly. If we played them 10 times, again, same roster, same guys, we beat them 10 times because, we know that we could lose. We lost the game. So I don't think if we play them 10 times again, the game's not close because we would have that respect for them, which I don't think that we did. Just personally, that's my opinion. That's not maybe a shared opinion by others, but I was at I want to say I was at the top of the I was on the other side, complete other side of the field. We were in man. It was man. It was 4th and 3. Your guy against my guy. We all in man. I mean, he didn't even look my way. I think I was guarding a tight end or something. He didn't look my way. I was able to see the entire play from where I was. I mean, obviously, I don't think it was pass interference. I'm a DB anyway, so I definitely don't think it was pass interference. Unfortunately, man, that's what they call. Before that play, I think we had like a 4th and 13 or something like that. Man, nobody get a 4th and 13 on us, but they did. It should have never came down to that play. It really shouldn't have. I guess the biggest thing I take away from that game, when Willis got hurt, I think we had the momentum then. I mean, Willis probably finished that game. We win that game easily, probably by a touchdown, maybe more. Because we had all of the momentum, and they didn't want to fight anymore. They didn't want to fight anymore once they saw that they gave us their best punch. The first half was their best that they had. The second half, they couldn't do anything. We gave them a couple of plays with a turnover here and there, and then obviously the Willis thing happened. But they didn't want to play anymore. When we went to overtime, was a blessing for them because now they had life. Before that, they weren't trying to win. They was trying not to lose. And then we started to try to win. So all of that momentum was with us. I think that, again, if we played them 10 times, I mean, we beat them 10 times, hands down, no, not even by a touchdown, more than that. More than that. Their best player that game wasn't Gamble, definitely wasn't Claret, wasn't their D lineman. It was the quarterback, because he got them out of so much crap, rushing, not even for a big yardage. He'll rush for 3 yards, but that 3 yards got it to 3rd and 3. And then, he'll rush for 4 yards on 2nd and 6, and now it's 3rd and 2. A lot of those plays is what, the inside of the game, that's where they won the game because we weren't able to stop that part of it. Claret didn't do anything. We wasn't going to let him beat us. I mean, that just wasn't going to happen. Gamble wasn't really a receiver, so he wasn't going to beat us either. It just so happened that, they made enough plays to win. Credit to them for that. Definitely was pass interference. It was not, it definitely wasn't. We all know that. Everybody know that. He probably knows that as well, whatever the ref name is or whatever, but he threw the flag. Once you threw the flag, he couldn't pick it up. He couldn't pick it up. So, that's where I was with that.
How long does it take somebody who played in that game? How long does it take for you to get over that?
Never. Never. You have a chance to live in. You become. Some of these guys become legends. Now you're a team that went back to back. Jonathan Vilma. DJ Williams. The entire O-line. Ken Dorsey. Andre Johnson. Those guys were starters in 2001. So that cements their legacy as being, legends. I'm a legend. Back-to-back championships, and you take that away. So you never get over it. You never, I don't have anything from the Fiesta Bowl, honestly. I just don't have anything.
No jersey, no nothing.
Jersey, no cleats, no gloves, no nothing. The ring we got from that year says like Big East champions, and I gave it to my dad. Like I didn't, it was, it didn't hold any value to me because, we had lost, it didn't say Perfect Storm 12-0 like the 2001 team said. It was like 12-1. What am I gonna do with that? 12-1. We hadn't completed the goal, so it was tough. And I don't think, if you talk to most guys, they haven't gotten over it. I think that we should have been more prepared, in the sense of not the coaches, not even so much the players, but mentality. Like, okay, yeah, because Ohio State had won like 7 games by 3 points that year. and we wasn't dominant, but we didn't have many close games that year. I think other than the West Virginia game that came down to the wire and stuff like that. But we was just plugging along like, yeah, it's our rite of passage. We're going to the championship, and we know. So it was like, okay, yeah, okay, we're going. And then, forget about it. You get there and you lay an egg. So
we got Mo Sikes, former Miami Hurricane safety, former great Miami Hurricane. After your college career is over, did you try to pursue the NFL? What happened after that?
It was simple. It was, after the draft, obviously I didn't get drafted. I went to New Orleans. I was there for a mini camp. Had a good mini camp. They had given money to another player, and he told me just to come and come back, and you would. He said at the very least you'll probably make the practice squad. I mean, hindsight is 2020. Who knows what would happen if had I gone there? But I had bills, so I didn't think like that. I thought about the fact that I had to pay my bills. So I came back. I had obviously applied for the police before I left, and I worked like a little, construction job for a little bit. I want to say about 6 to 8 months, and then I got on with the police. I want to say, that was obviously 2005. That's also when Katrina hit. So it just so happened that I wasn't there when Katrina hit. So I just take that as my blessing because, I didn't have now. And to me, it seems like if you play ball, they'll give you a tryout or, you could bounce around the league, which I didn't want to do anyway. But back then it was like, okay, well, I didn't get drafted and I didn't get a call, so I'm going to go back and go to work. It's time for real life, and then I never really looked back on that. And I think for two reasons. One, I knew I had to get a job. And two, because Katrina happened, it made me realize that, that wasn't my destiny. That wasn't for me. I wasn't supposed to be there for that. So, I don't see it as a bad thing.
All right. Yeah, I think that's something that, we always wonder. And I'm glad you told that story on here because a lot of people have asked me about that. So thank you for telling that story. So I hit you up about doing the podcast and you say, is this going to be a realistic podcast?
Yeah.
And by that, I mean, I'm thinking you got strong opinions about how Miami has been as of late. Speaking honestly here, the last decade, a lot of people, they try to say, will Miami be back? And we haven't gotten close to where you guys were. So just as looking at it as somebody who has been on the field, has produced great things for this university, loves the university, former alum of the university, what do you think about how this program has really fallen?
I mean, it hurts, just the easy way for me to say it, it hurts. It hurts that, you could turn on the game and you watch the game and you don't know if they're going to beat Duke. You don't know if they're going to beat FIU. You don't know if, you're going to beat North Carolina. Those things hurt because, and I've heard people say that, oh, well, it's because you was in the Big East before. Yeah, we was in the Big East, but we played anybody. We played anybody. It didn't matter, when we went to Washington, played them. We played Tennessee up there. We played Florida. We played Florida State every year. So it didn't matter, what conference you're in. The conference stuff is really for the conferences with the money. That's all that's for, because if you are number one, nobody cares what conference you're in other than the TVs and things like that. Because when I'm getting ready to play, when we were getting ready to play, believe me, I didn't care what conference you was in. I wanted to beat you. I didn't care that people used to watch TV now and they're screaming SEC on TV, and I'm like, I don't care. Who cares about that? I care about winning. I'm gonna beat the dog crap out of your SEC. And that's what I'm gonna say. I never screamed out Big East. Who cares? I didn't think about it. We was gonna win the Big East. If we'd have been the SEC, you know what? We'd have won the SEC. Or the ACC or whoever conference it was, we would have won their conference too. So it hurts me now when I see them and you can't win the ACC. You can't beat, like, they lost to La Tech, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to La Tech. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just saying I remember playing Louisiana Tech my senior year, and we wasn't thinking about if we was gonna win. We was thinking about what quarter we was getting out. Like, I mean, DJ scored in that game, and Trell took an interception and a punt back in that game. Like, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, we score more on defense than offense. Like, that's what we were thinking about. And here we are, we can't score 3 points against La Tech. And, listen, I'm a fan now. I'm a true fan. I'm not a coach. I don't know all the ins and outs. I mean, I could watch the game and I could tell you what's going on, and I can call out some of the plays, but I am not, aficionado and know all of this stuff. I don't. However, I know that I could probably coach UM and we could score more than 14 points. I'm just sorry. You should be able to score 14 points by coming into the door. That should be just like, it should be like waking up. Like, it wasn't ever a point where we was like, man, we gotta score, a touchdown, or we gotta score, 50, or no. Our motto was simple. Everybody under 17 points, and we scored a touchdown on defense too. That's what we did, because we knew the offense was going to get their point. We knew to hold people under 17, and we scored.
Has there been a moment where you've been in the last couple of years where you've been really proud of Miami? I think of like when they beat Notre Dame, there was a time when I thought Miami was going to be up to be one of the top teams the next couple of years. A couple of years back, has there been a time where you've just been like, yes, okay, they got this turned around now?
Well, so since you said that, we could be honest. Notre Dame has never been good. Let's stop there. So you can't even start. I mean, everybody keep talking about Notre Dame. Notre Dame suck. They just don't play anybody either. So for the last decade, what has Notre Dame done? Gone to the national championship, got blown out by 200 by Alabama, and then played in the semifinals and got another 500 scored against Clemson. What's that? Notre Dame's not good. So I was at the Notre Dame game, and the atmosphere was electric. It reminded me of the Orange Bowl. That was like the perfect storm of everything. The kids was ready to play. They were the underdog. I went out to the game day thing. That it was bananas there too. It was just, you had a good feel. That's what the games were like for us. That's what I was used to. I hadn't seen it in a long time, but that Notre Dame team was big and slow and sorry. I mean, that's what they were. And you come down and that UM team had a chip on their shoulder. They wanted to play that day. They did. They had guys that were hungry, guys that wanted to work. And they put in the work that probably leading up to that game. And it just Notre Dame had no shot. They had no shot. And when you look at the game, like, it doesn't even look like they wanted to play at all.
Mm-mm.
So, yeah, that I was proud during that time. I mean, that was a great season. However, I would compare that Notre Dame team, like beating them, to beating West Virginia when we was playing, beating, Syracuse. I mean, they weren't good. They was a respectful team. I mean, you couldn't just show up and you was gonna, beat them. But at the same time, they didn't want to play you. they didn't want to be in Miami. You crazy? Did you see their faces? Those guys was a deer in headlights behind a double-barrel shotgun. They did not want to be there at all. They just had to play the game, and you saw what happened. I mean, God couldn't have saved them that night. or whoever, that, I don't know, the Tower of Jesus or something like that. I don't like Notre Dame, so I'm sorry.
You're in law enforcement. You got friends. You're in Miami. What did you think? Did you watch the game or afterwards? What happened when Miami lost to FIU? Because to me, I thought it was one of the worst losses in school history. I didn't even, I don't even know how to even explain it. What about you? How was it from your point of view?
I'm glad I wasn't here. I was out of the country, but honestly, it didn't shock me. Like, it didn't shock me. And it didn't shock me because FIU has a bunch of kids that wanted to go to UM and couldn't go. The kicker ended up at UM this year. They had a bunch of kids that wanted to play at UM and who would have died to play at UM. And UM has a bunch of guys that want to wear a helmet and throw up a U. My man, that's not what it's about. That's not, you want to say, oh, the U and the U. No. There's a pride with putting on the U on the helmet. There's a pride with running through the smoke. There's a pride with throwing up the 4 in the fourth quarter. And, honestly, I don't think that the kids have it anymore. When I think about it, 2005 maybe was the last time that UM was actually really relevant. So 2005, here we are, it's 2020. So if that kid was 3 years old in 2005, that means that he's going to be a high school senior this year, or he's a junior, or he might be a freshman in college. He's never seen Miami as a team that was good. So him not seeing UM as good, why do you think so many of these kids that, live in South Florida or are from South Florida or from Florida altogether, they don't even consider Miami? I'm sorry, I don't want to believe that it's all about the facilities, because I didn't even think about that when I was considering the school. I didn't think about it. UM's brand is so strong that it's way better than any facility you can get. Oregon probably has the best facilities in the galaxy. They suck. They suck. And not that they suck in the sense that they don't win games, because obviously Coach Mario, who recruited me, is up there. He has he's given them a different feel now, but they have everything. Why aren't they winning every national championship? If that's all it takes. If it's facilities, Oregon should be number 1 every year. But they're not, because it takes more than that. You need that power struggle. You need that. I have a guy who is willing to die for the program, that's leading the program, who's the face of the program, who's showing the guy that's a freshman who is a 5-star, but telling him to sit down and shut up. That's not what's happening anymore. Now you got the 5-star coming in, and he doesn't have to run the sprints like everybody else, or he's treated differently. He's treated special. And special is good if you're special. Yeah, it's good. You should be treated, But if that person doesn't earn it every step of the way in life, as a little leaguer, high schooler, college kid, NFL, professional, a person that's going out for a job, a person that's on the back of a garbage truck, a person that's a police officer, a person that's a doctor, everybody earns their way. The people that are given it usually lose it because they didn't earn it and they don't respect it. And that's what, I think that that's what's happening with UM, because, when I came in, you know what? Everybody had to get a bald head, cut your hair. Doesn't matter if you had dreads to the floor. Rohan Marley, Rastafarian, Bob Marley's son, had a bald head.
What if you said no? What if you said no? I'm not cutting my hair.
Oh no, you was cutting it. It was one way or the other. You was cutting it. And again, the rules are different now. The hazing and hey, you can't do that, you can't say that, you can't curse at people and stuff like that. Well, that's why you're not succeeding in life, because you never had anything. Nobody telling you no. Look Listen, I can tie it back to coronavirus now, social distancing. Who's out partying and on the beach? And like I'm in South Florida, so all of the kids that's coming, we're on spring break and we're gonna party. No, you're not gonna party. You're gonna go home, or you're gonna go to your hotel. You're gonna do something. You're not gonna be here. Oh, I spent so much money, and then you turn around a week later, the kid's sick, or one of the kids have died, or one of the kids in jail, and it's like, well, what happened? Well, you didn't listen to what was told to you. You was told no. You didn't know how to react to that. And that's a problem. You got to hear no. It can't always be yes. I don't care who you are. It can't always be yes. Oh, can I do this? Yes. Can I do that? Yes. No, you have to hear a no sometime so you can be able to react and deal with that, to understand it. And right now we got a generation that's tied to yes and tied to self-gratification and let me pat you on the back even if you suck. And that's not the real world.
All right, Mo, I got a couple more questions and then we'll get you out of here. We got Ed Reed as the chief of staff member now, okay? So if Ed calls you up and say, Mo, I'm going to change this around, but I need your advice. What advice would you give him?
Wow. I hope that wouldn't happen. Yeah. I mean, honestly, what's the chief of staff? I mean, I love Ed, and I love Miami, and I love everything about it. I love him coming back. I would have loved for him to coach the DBs or the corners or the safeties or whatever. What's the chief of staff? Because I don't know what it is. I mean, does Clemson have a chief of staff?
I don't think so.
Ohio State, Alabama, Florida.
I think Alabama got like they got all these weird assistant names,
They got 1,000 coaches, but like the teams that are winning, do they have a chief of staff? What is it? I guess that's what it is. Where my ignorance lies is that I don't know what it is, and I want to know what he's going to be doing because I would have rather him coach. If you tell me he's going to be the safeties coach, I'm all on board. I'm more excited about it than the chief of staff because I don't know what the chief of staff is going to do. Is he a rah-rah coach? I don't know that. I think that these kids are so disconnected from those times other than knowing that he played in the NFL. They don't know him as Ed Reed at Miami. They know him as Baltimore Ravens Ed Reed, Hall of Famer. But they don't know him as Ed Reed, the Hurricane. So that rah-rah stuff, probably not going to work. What is he gonna do? That's the and if that's the case, if he's the rah-rah guy, I can think of other people that would probably be better than him as a rah-rah guy because he's.
Well, I think they're saying Ed's gonna help with recruiting. He's gonna be like the overseer of some things, and he's gonna be able to be kind of the connect between a coaching staff and players, kind of.
Okay.
And like an extra pair of eyes, but he's calling you though, Mo. He's calling you. You a man who you've been there from start. You've turned the program around. They're calling you for your advice. What are you gonna tell them, Mo?
I don't, man. I would. I guess the first thing I would do is I would really only recruit Florida. I would probably try to do that first and foremost. I think so many of the guys that want to go to Miami, they don't get recruited because we're looking at old lineman from Minnesota. Or I know that when Al Golden was here, he loved to get the Northeast guys. And I'm like, bro, you sucked at Temple. Why are you getting guys that Temple won't recruit to come here? I think that I will focus on that. I would recruit guys. I would kind of do like what Manny said he wanted to do. I want to recruit guys that want to play for Miami. Not that they want to throw up the U and all of that bull crap. I'm talking about that they want to play for Miami. Duke Johnson wanted to play for Miami. DJ Dallas wanted to play for Miami. They did not think about anything else. It wasn't about nothing else. It was about, I want to play for Miami. I will get back to that because there's a lot of kids that want to play for Miami. And that star system that they have, man, wow. I don't know who makes it or whatever, but they're not, obviously they're not always right. Ed Reed, a 2-star athlete. Who dropped the ball there? Kyle Wright was 5-star. Can't miss.
Were you ranked?
I 4 stars, but what did that mean?
Yeah,
I remember Philip Buchanan came in. He was 3 stars. Phil was way better than me.
Yeah.
He was way better. He was a better athlete, faster, stronger, more determined. So who did the ranking? Torrey Mitchell I think he was 4 or 5 stars when he came in. I mean, he ran a 10-200, but that never correlated to football, and he wasn't there. So who's doing the stars? I would recruit the kids, probably Brevard County and South. I'll get, I'll try to get some of the big guys from the Midwest to play some O-line. I wouldn't even necessarily go, it's always been the adage to go to California or Texas or go to the Northeast for a quarterback. I wouldn't even do that anymore. You got plenty of quarterbacks that have come out of South Florida that have made it in college, obviously, but now are starting in the NFL. And look at Lamar Jackson wanted to play at UM. Teddy Bridgewater wanted to play at UM. You had these guys in your backyard that wanted to play, and for whatever reason, Teddy Bridgewater ends up at Louisville, and guess who come right after him? So I would focus on recruiting the guys that want to play for UM, and again, not focusing on guys who want to throw up the U and all of this. I'm ignorant to how things work now. I don't follow recruiting. I don't, I see that these kids, they go and put on a uniform at every school that you go to. I think that's the stupidest shit I ever seen. So stupid. Like, I would have been damned to put on a Florida State uniform. Like, what?
Come on now.
I'm not putting on no Florida State uniform. If you go to Miami, how you gonna put on a Florida State uniform?
Tell
me that.
Tell them.
How you going to Michigan and you gonna put on an Ohio State uniform?
Talk to them, Mo.
That's the dumbest thing I ever seen. But you know what? We pacify it. We're the ones doing it. Oh man, yeah. Oh, he put on a UM uniform. He coming to UM. Man, that kid is doing that shit for likes on Instagram. But again, like I said, it's a different time, man. And I understand that part. I'm just ignorant to the fact that I just don't believe you needed to win. Alabama, what's helping them is they have a structure in place with the head coach, and he fills in the position coaches periodically as they leave and stuff like that. But for the most part, they do the same thing every year, the same thing. And that's what made us good. When I played, we had a structure of how we did things. When we went from Butch to Coker, absolutely nothing changed. Nothing. We did everything the same. The only thing that changed really was the fact that now we had a coach that was probably a little bit more likable to the guys. But as far as what we did day to day, we knew Tuesday was a hard practice. Wednesday was a hard practice. Thursday was scaling back. Friday we had a light day. Friday afternoon, evening we traveled. Saturday we played a game. Sunday we had our conditioning test and workout. And then if you had to go to the training table for injuries and stuff, that was Sunday. Monday we were off. Tuesday we was right back at it again. That's what it was. And having a steady coach is obviously going to keep those things in place. Obviously, we haven't had a steady coach because of, you're not winning. If you're not winning, you're not staying in Miami. That's just not going to happen because the fan base demands so much. The fan base demands everything. They demand everything. They want to win every game. And then when you lose to FIU, who is, 30 miles away from you, I mean, it's pathetic.
Hey, I'm with you on Most of everything you just said, man. You're saying some of the stuff that I've always said. It's a different time with recruiting, like you said. I think it's just a different time. To me, I've never been a fan of the putting on the different jerseys. But you make a good point. The players that want to be at Miami, like the DJ Dallases, they never really did that type of stuff. So it's kids out there that want to play. We just got to make it happen, man. I got one more question for you, Mo. And this is just there's obviously no wrong answer. This is just a hypothetically, if magic could happen, what would happen, So let's say the 2001 Miami Hurricanes team went up against the 2002 Miami Hurricane team. Obviously, there's players are going to be duplicated or whatever. But basically what I'm saying is who would win that game, 2001 or 2002?
Whew. I mean, I'm going to be selfish and say 2002. But man, that's a dog fight because you have so many guys that were that are just legends that's playing on both teams. I mean, it's like saying, who do you want at running back, Clint Portis or Willis McGahee? I mean, that's ridiculous. 2001 had a fresh, no injuries, Frank Gore,
Yeah.
who is, I haven't even mentioned him, and he's a legend. He's a legend amongst legends. So, do you take Shockey or do you take Kellen? Man, do you take E. Reed or do you take Sean Teller? I love Reed. I love Reed, my brother. I'm taking Sean without a doubt. I'm just going to take Sean because Sean's going to be able to do much more. And then, do you take Antrell Roll or Philip Buchanan? I'm taking Antrell because I played more with him. I'm 2002 team. You know what I mean? So for me, it's easy to say that. But when you put it on paper and you really look at it, I don't know. I think that 2001, without a doubt, hands down, greatest team ever. It's not comparable. I see these stupid surveys all the time. Texas team and USC and all of this.
They say the Nebraska team, the 95 Nebraska.
That's the only team that you're going to get my respect on. 95 Nebraska with Tommy Frazier at quarterback was an absolute machine. That was, they had the big guy, number 40, playing fullback. They had Lawrence Phillips at tailback. Like, that was a machine team. Like, I don't know, man. That'd be the better team. But their defense wasn't, their defense is what would get them in trouble because they big and slow. Like that's the problem I see with them. But that offense, man, they put in work, man. That's the only team that's come close. That Reggie Bush, USC crap, throw it out. And they ain't doing all of that. You're not dancing around, and you ain't the fastest player on the team. I mean, you ain't.
They said this year's LSU's team could beat them. This year's LSU team.
This year LSU team presents a problem because they went 5 wides on people, and the tight end was running out and stuff like that. But again, it goes back to they got to cover, they got to play us too. So their defense wasn't that great. Their defense was opportunistic, which is great. That's good. But Ken Dorsey wasn't making no mistakes, and you're not going to stop Portis, Frank Gore, Najee all game, and then we're going to be able to throw it to Andre. Huh? Yeah,
like get around Brian McKinney.
Yeah, and that's the thing that people don't realize. I'm just like, you throw out a who's list of that 2001 team, and then you say, wait, hold up, he was on that team? Oh, he was too? And you realize that, like, besides, except for the handful of stars on a lot of these teams, when you get down into the, who was the third running back, or who was the third receiver, who was the fourth corner, you're like, nah, that guy ain't doing nothing. But our fourth corner on the 2001 team was Antrell Roll. The fifth corner was Kelly Jennings. I mean, like, I just named you 2 first-round picks, that were 4th and 5th, and then you had Alfonso Marshall, who got drafted. Marcus Maxey, who got drafted. Like that's who was on that team. So I just, obviously I'm biased. I'm definitely biased. I wouldn't even say that I wasn't. But some of those teams that, the Texas team with Vince, what's my man name that played?
Fish Young.
Yeah. I mean, that's nice. He was a big dude. But we gonna pound you. That's it. You, the whole game? No, we gonna pound you. You better have more than that. And that's what they had. I mean, great team now. Great team. They won. They won. I give them their respect. But on that 2001 team, it was just a different level. Our practices was better than some games. Just being honest. Man. So I'm biased.
All right, Mo, man. That's all I got for you. Is there anything you got, any events or anything that you want to say to the public? You're a law official. Maybe you could talk some sense into some of the people that's still going out during this time, or anything you want to say to the people?
Yeah, man. I just really, really wish that everybody just would be safe, stay home. If I could, I'd stay home. It is. I will be the first to admit that I did not take it as serious as I should have in the beginning. Simply because I thought, what's going on in China? I don't live in China. I don't care, But, when we were starting to shut things out, I was actually in Aruba. And when I was in Aruba, they was, it was just different. They wasn't talking about it. Wasn't nothing going on. But as I'm getting ready to leave, the grocery stores are completely chaotic. And I'm asking the people, I'm like, yo, what's going on? And they're like, oh, they're going to shut down the port and we're not going to get any produce coming in. And people don't know what they're going to do. And I'm like, wait, is this serious? And then as I'm there, schools are shut down and stuff. And I come in to work and things are different at work. And then I say, okay, well, maybe I was wrong. And then now, you realize that, New York, which is the epicenter for us here in the United States, 300 police officers have it. And obviously I'm only talking from a law enforcement standpoint because that's what I have. But my sister's a nurse, and her one of her supervisors was the first one at Jackson Memorial that passed. So it's real. It's not a joke. It's not something to laugh at. It's not something that's just going to go away either if we keep partying, people are being out, people having parties at their house, kickbacks and stuff like that. That's stupid. You're stupid. You're being irresponsible. Stay at home. Right now, you and I speaking, I'm home. I'm home. I'm watching reruns of Sports Center, catching up on reading, doing housework inside. And if I didn't have to leave my house to go to work every day, I wouldn't. I don't see really what's the problem with staying home. At least we would have had, for the 14 days, stay home. Now, obviously, it's extended all the way, through April, which is going to be tough. But what people need to do is now to think a lot smarter. I don't really understand why people grabbing so much toilet paper. It's stupid. You should be grabbing the meat. You should be grabbing frozen foods. You should be grabbing water. You should be treating it like a hurricane, not like a shit party, because you're not going to be able to eat no toilet paper. So I would tell people to be safe, stay home, take care of your families. Don't go out unless you absolutely have to. And absolutely have to doesn't mean going to get liquor and going to your friend's house and having shots and going to a little party or going to the bar and sitting outside or going on jet skis. We've been having that issue right now in my city that people going on jet skis and taking their boats out and stuff like that. This is not that time because I had a supervisor that told me one time that if you don't supervise yourself, somebody will supervise you. And that's something that I've held on to very tightly because it's profound. And he basically said, if you can't do what you're supposed to do, somebody's going to do it for you. And most likely it's going to be in a way in which you don't like. So, I don't have no inside information. I'm just as lost as everybody else. I don't have anything to tell, no secrets of martial law. I'm like, I haven't heard that. I don't think that we're nowhere near that. But you have to be smart and saying that stay your ass in the house. It's easy. It's easy. Stay in the house. Everybody when they had to go to work, what did they have to say? Oh man, I can't wait to get home, man. I can't stay. I don't like this job. I want to go home. Now you're home and not you're trying to be everywhere else. Makes absolutely no sense. So if I had to say anything to people, that's what it'd be. Be safe. Stay home. Let's get through this together. It won't last forever. Obviously, we know the world is going to go on, but you want to be a part of the moving process. You don't want to be the ones where we're putting you in dirt or you're passing because you just wasn't smart.
Okay. Hey, y'all heard the man. Take it serious. I know I'm not trying to go anywhere right now. Just trying to stay sharp, read books, and listen to a lot of different podcasts and continue to create content. Mo, I do want to say, man, I truly appreciate you, and not just for doing this interview, man, just as a young football player growing up, watching you, Sean, all you guys play. I didn't really know the game like I do now, but we all ran around saying we want to be Sean Taylor, we want to be Mo Sikes, we want to be Ed Reed.